Super Week was absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to get week 2 underway.
We have the same goal.
Make it to Worlds. Make it to Worlds. Make it to Worlds.
Now we have a better team.
Super strong.
Now we have a better team.
Stronger.
Jerry actually went aggressive. Jerry aggressive.
Push and move.
Tabs was brilliant.
In Yellow Stadion, killable.
We just shout.
Come on!
Wombo combo! I don't think so.
Make it to Worlds. Make it to Worlds. Make it.
I have no idea.
Make it to Worlds. Make it to Worlds. Make it to Worlds.
Come on!
Wombo combo!
Make it to Worlds.
Come on!
Wombo combo!
Push and move. Make it to Worlds. Make it to Worlds. Make it to
We
Worlds.
just shout.
Make it to Worlds. Make it.
Same goal.
Make it to Worlds. Make it to Worlds. Make it to Worlds.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 2 of the European League of Legends Championship Series, coming to you live from our studio here in Cologne, Germany. I am Lee Smith, and I am pleased to be joined by my stalwart companion, Trevor Quickshot Henry.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Make it to Worlds indeed. And I'm looking forward to seeing what adjustment the teams have made coming into our second week, now that they've had a chance to see each other in action, and they have 7 full days to prepare for these games.
And of course, last week was our opening Super Week, and there was some innovative picks that all worked out perfectly. Of course, in the top lane, well, it was the man with the swag, Darian, playing Warwick in that top lane. And of course, Trundle, played by Soaz. The support players, bunch of different champions coming out there. Kennen, Galio, Morgana, everything working wonderfully.
Yeah, 45 unique champions picked or banned during the course of Super Week. That is also including the North American picks. Over here in Europe, the picks that have 100% win ratio in all the games they played include that Trundle, the Warwick, Pantheon, Shen, Galio, Kennen, Morgana. The list carries on because in America, we also had Teemo being played by Cloud9. We had Akali as well as Karthus locked in for Curse. They were successful, and the rant is hoping they continue. I want to see more of these oddball champions in the competitive scene.
And of course, the most innovative team of the lot was Rockout, because they pulled out a bunch of different champions. The very first LCS game, they pulled out Malphite and Pantheon, and of course, Morgana's support in the last game of the day.
Yeah, one of the things it demonstrates is Rockout has an incredibly deep champion pool. With the champions they picked, they demonstrated an ability to lane well, to do good team fights. They finished off games as well. They went 3-1 in the week. And the fact that we have this new team coming in that demonstrates an ability to close matches, it's something that teams struggled to do during 2013. And I'm excited to see them perform here again in week 2.
And of course, the bot lanes where a lot of changes were happening as well. But also the trends tend to specific champions, because there was a different level of success between the two in the AD carries, but the supports, the Thresh bans, Annie bans, 11 bans for Annie.
Yeah, Annie was one of the strongest 3.15. She's taking a bit of a hit now in 4.1, which we'll get to later. But in terms of your AD carries, Jinx I definitely want to talk about. Was picked 9 times last week here in EU. 7 of those were wins. Following Jinx was Lucian. He was actually picked 10 times, and I think Mr. Rawls was the only one that really dominated with him. He went 4 and 6 in the week. And when those two weren't available, or whoever got Jinx or Lucian, the next pick was really sort of Caitlyn. We've seen her showing up a whole lot. 2 wins, 4 losses. Not particularly impressive, especially if compared to last year. And very quickly, Thresh, the most played support. He had 10 games, plus you mentioned he was banned, I think, 5 or 6 times as well. 60% win ratio is good, but I think so many players are high skilled with him. And finally, Annie, 5 games on the lot, 3 wins, 2 losses. Actually, same win ratio as Thresh. The only one that we're missing is Sivir. Sivir's the only champion that we're not talking about. She's being played in NA, she's being played OGN, she's been playing GPL. And I think EU will pick her up at some point to surprise everybody else.
Now, before we get into today's games, let's take a quick look at the standings and where it all finished last Super Week. Of course, leading the pack, well, it is Fnatic. They are at the top of the table, going 4-0. Perfect Super Week for them so far, and only team in the LCS, both North America and Europe, to do that, of course. The 2 teams currently holding second place, well, Rockat surprised everyone, as well as Gambit on there with 3 wins and 1 loss. And of course, another tie at 4th place, which is SK Gaming and Copenhagen Wolves, both picked up 2 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah, moving towards the bottom half of the table, there's yet another tie. This time in 6th place, where Millennium and the Super Hot crew are sitting at 1 win, 3 losses apiece. And finally, sitting alone in last place is Alliance, who shocked the world when 0-4. They surprised me with as well.
Yeah, it was not a good week for Alliance. We'll see how that continues. But of course, those numbers are sure to change. And we do have 4 big matches coming up today. Up first, it is going to be Millennium taking on Alliance, who are still chasing that first elusive win. And then, of course, second match is going to be a rematch, the first of the season, which will be Roccat facing the Super Hop crew.
And, of course, Game 3 will be the Copenhagen Wolves taking on Millennium. Millennium will be their second game of the day. And game number 4 features Gambit taking on SK Gaming.
And, of course, immediately following these matches, it is time for another round of the European Challenger Series. So stay tuned after our matches to see the Ninjas in Pajamas facing SK Gaming Prime, no longer Kappa.
Yeah, no more Kappa faces for you guys. SK did pick up that Challenger team. These games will be brought to you and covered by Kobe and Freak once we wrap up all of the LCS matches, guys.
Now, let's take a quick look at players to watch this week. In the top lane, well, he really farmed his way to victory, channeled his Hin in a hotshot GG. It was, of course, Freddy122, who really, for SK Gaming, got 1,335 farms. So close to being elite, didn't quite get there. But, of course, his Giovanna has taken a hit in 4.1, so keep your eyes on Freddy to see if he's as impactful this week.
Yeah, and we'll see what he's going to end up playing. I think in the jungle, I want to highlight Jankos. He was terrifying last week, and he really impressed me with his ganks, his timing, and his presence. He ended up going 12, 2, and 17 in their 3 victories. Their loss, not so good, but we'll see what kind of threat he can bring in week 2.
And, of course, the mid laner, well, who else? Alex Ich in that mid lane pulled out the quadra kill. So close to getting that penta was, of course, the hashtag LCS big play with his 5.6 KDA. He leads that mid lane. Will he continue to perform that way? We'll find out later on today.
Well, somebody we kept asking if they'll keep performing was Reckless in the AD carry role. He was the #1 MVP here in Europe. He's got the highest KDA in NA and EU at 19.33. And usually we'll see those numbers even out and become a little bit more realistic. I'm not so sure with this guy is terrifying at the moment.
Absolutely lived up to the hype. And, of course, alongside him was Yellowstar, who put up his own insane numbers with a 13 KDA in week 1, playing a whole variety of supports.
Yeah, his Annie, his Leon, his Thresh were all very scary. The duo from Fnatic was probably the scariest of the week, but you cannot deny the strength of other duos that we've seen. Mr. Rolls and Mixer, I think, for me, stand out as very important players. And I also think that Sullivan Vander put on a great performance themselves, shutting down players like Tabs and Nif, which is something I would not have expected happen, and we'll see who can control those dual lanes in the new 4.1.
So before we begin, of course, you guys are watching this on lolesports.com. Where else would you watch this? And you can also check out the full schedule, all the latest stats, team info, VODs, and more on that website. Lots of things to check out. Of course, you can also find details of how to join us live here in Cologne. And, of course, get your tickets. Just go on towards the top of the page, click on that tickets button, and buy yourself here.
Yeah, come check it out.